Deep within whispering woods where sunlight dripped through emerald leaves, the forest was alive with the sounds of chirping birds and rustling leaves. The air was fresh and filled with the scent of pine and wildflowers. It was a place of magic and mystery where every corner held a secret waiting to be discovered. In this enchanting forest lived a clever fox named Finley. Finley was known far and wide for his sharp mind and quick wit. He had a coat as red as the autumn leaves and eyes that sparkled with curiosity. Every day Finley would explore the forest, always on the lookout for something new and exciting. One of Finley's favorite pastimes was collecting shiny pebbles. He had a special spot near a babbling brook where he kept his collection. Each pebble was unique, with different colors and patterns, and Finley took great pride in his collection. He believed that each pebble had a story to tell, and he loved imagining the adventures they had been on before he found them. One sunny afternoon, as Finley was searching for new additions to his collection, he stumbled upon a pebble unlike any he had ever seen. It shimmered with rainbow light, casting a magical glow on the forest floor. Finley's heart raced with excitement as he picked it up, feeling a strange warmth emanating from the stone. It wasn't a pebble at all, but a magical wishing stone. Legend spoke of such stones, saying that they had the power to grant the deepest desires of those who found them. Finley could hardly believe his luck. He held the stone close, wondering what wish he should make. Should he wish for endless adventures, a treasure trove of shiny pebbles, or perhaps something even more extraordinary? The possibilities were endless, and Finley knew that whatever he wished for, his life was about to change forever. Nearby, a goat named Gertie munched on everything she could find. Gertie was known far and wide for her insatiable appetite. No matter how much she ate, she always seemed to want more. Her fellow goats often warned her about the dangers of overeating, but Gertie never listened. She was too focused on finding her next meal. "More, more!" she bleated, always wanting more. Her cries echoed through the meadow, and the other animals shook their heads in dismay. They knew that Gertie's greed would eventually get her into trouble, but she was too stubborn to heed their warnings. Every day Gertie would venture further and further in search of food, never satisfied with what she had. One sunny afternoon, as she wandered near the edge of the meadow, she stumbled upon a delicious patch of clover growing at the bottom of a well. The clover looked so fresh and green, and Gertie's mouth watered at the sight of it. She knew she had to have it, no matter the cost. She peered over the edge of the well, her eyes fixed on the clover below. Without a second thought, Gertie didn't even think before she jumped. She leaped into the well, her mind solely focused on the clover. As she descended, she felt a rush of excitement. She was finally going to get her hooves on the most delicious clover she had ever seen. But as she landed at the bottom of the well, she realized her mistake. She ate the clover but couldn't get out. The walls of the well were too steep and slippery for her to climb. Panic set in as she realized she was trapped. She bleated for help, but her cries were muffled by the stone walls. Hours passed, and Gertie grew tired and hungry once more. She regretted her greed and wished she had listened to the warnings of her friends. As night fell, she curled up at the bottom of the well, hoping that someone would come to her rescue. The next morning, the other animals noticed Gertie's absence and began to search for her. They followed her trail to the well and heard her faint bleats. With great effort, they managed to lower a rope and pull Gertie to safety. Gertie was grateful for their help and vowed to never let her greed get the better of her again. From that day on, she learned to appreciate what she had and to listen to the advice of her friends. Finley heard Gertie's cries for help. He peered into the well. How unlucky, he thought. Then he had an idea.
"Don't worry, Gertie," Finley called down. "I'll help you." He told her to stand very still.
Finley jumped onto Gertie's back. He used her horns to reach the top of the well and leaped to freedom. Gertie waited for Finley to help her, but Finley was gone.
"Help me!" she cried. "You promised!"
Finley reappeared with a twinkle in his eye. He held up the wishing stone.
"This stone can grant wishes, but we have to wish together."
Gertie, desperate to escape, agreed. Finley closed his eyes and whispered, "I wish for a mountain of delicious berries, just for me." Gertie stomped her hooves. "No, wait, I wish for a giant haystack, all for me," she yelled. The wishing stone pulsed with magic. Nothing happened. The air was still, and the room felt heavy with disappointment. Gertie and Finley had tried everything they could think of, but the stone remained inert, its magical glow absent. They had hoped for a miracle, but all they got was silence. "It didn't work," cried Gertie, her voice breaking with frustration. Tears welled up in her eyes as she looked at the stone, willing it to change, to do something, anything. Finley sighed deeply, his shoulders slumping in defeat. He had been so sure this would work. "The stone only grants wishes when we wish for something together," he explained, his voice tinged with sadness. They had found the stone in an old chest in the attic, dusty and forgotten. It was supposed to be a relic of great power, but only if the wish came from a place of unity. We need to want the same thing. Gertie thought about this, her mind racing. She had always been so focused on her own desires, her own dreams. But now she realized they needed to be aligned, to share a common goal. She looked at Finley, seeing the determination in his eyes. For the first time, she thought about someone else's needs. She thought about what Finley wanted, what would make him happy. Slowly, she began to understand that their wishes needed to come from a place of mutual understanding and care. She reached out, taking his hand in hers, and together they made a new wish. "All right, Finley," Gertie said, "let's wish together." They closed their eyes and wished for Gertie to be free. The wishing stone glowed brightly. Suddenly, a ramp of sparkling stones rose from the bottom of the well, carrying Gertie to safety. Gertie learned a valuable lesson that day. Greed only led to trouble, but friendship and kindness were magical. From then on, Gertie and Finley shared everything, especially the delicious berries that magically appeared whenever they wished for them together.